Data quality and SAP. In this video, we will share our lessons learned and best practice regarding the impact bad data quality can have to an SAP project, as well as the activities that, if implemented, can ensure correct data. The video is divided into the following topics: the importance of data quality in SAP, the data quality strategy, and finally, data quality activities. So let's first have a look at the importance of data quality in SAP. So in a traditional legacy system, you will have situations where there is data entry or interface data which is not correct. So you could say garbage is coming into your system, which in a traditional system design will result in garbage coming out. You could say that the business process can continue, but the output are incorrect and might require some post-process adjustments. Now, in an SAP world, if you have the same situation where you are having garbage coming into your SAP system, in most cases you will have nothing coming out. And you could say that the SAP process in most cases will stop or require significant corrective work for process adjustment or even additional work before this process can continue. So traditional garbage in, garbage out. In SAP, the term is garbage in, nothing out. And that's why the data quality is very important when you talk about SAP systems. But let's have a look at what types of data quality issues you could be facing. First of all, incomplete data, meaning data records are incomplete. It could be missing optional or mandatory information. Example is that the zip code is missing from the vendor address details, and the zip code is a standard field, a mandatory field in SAP. It could also be that the data is complete but it's wrong. In this case, data records contains all the data elements, but the content of the record is wrong. So example again with the vendor, you might be that the vendor address is wrong, the vendor has moved, or the bank account associated with the vendor is wrong, but there is a bank account and there is a complete address details consisting of the street name, the numbering, the zip code and so on, but the content itself is wrong. Then finally you can have data that is missing. So here we are not talking about a record which is wrong or contain incorrect data, but the entire record is missing. Example, the vendor is not created. The bank details for the vendor is not created or missing. So this is some of the most common data quality issues. And the impact of this is, well, if it's incomplete data, you might have the process might most likely stop until the information is corrected, but the output will be correct once you put in the missing piece. Complete but wrong data, the process will continue as the record contains all the mandatory elements, but the output would be wrong. Likewise, in the missing data, well, here if it's mandatory information, you will have the process to stop and you cannot process it any further until the information is corrected or provided. So vendor record you cannot process until the vendor record is created, and in this case you will have a delay, but the output will be correct. So to summarize this, incomplete missing data will give you a delay, but the output will be correct, whereas the complete but wrong data, you will have no delay, the process will go through, but you will have a wrong result. Now, then let's look at the strategy you need to put in place to prevent this from happening to your project. So as a project manager, you need to know the current data quality situation in the organization where you are implementing SAP. And you need to know it in terms of current process impacted, are the current data quality issues? If there is, what is the scope of these quality problems? Are there any current action being taken to improve this? And do data quality KPIs exist? Are someone measured against how correct the data of the current systems are. And how do you find this out? You find this out through interviewing stakeholders involved in the current process, running reports. You might have access to tools which can do some advanced data assessment. You might have some ETL tools that can use to extract and analyze the data based on rules that you can define. So these are some of the ways that you can find out how is the current situation. Once you know that, you need to assess the impact to your project. What is the risk exposure to your project? And you need to look at or consider data volumes, the data quality that you found, multiply with these volumes, and the sources that you're extracting it for. All of this will give you an impact analysis, or should give you an idea of what is the risk exposure to your project. Once you know the impact to your project, the risk, you can now look at how to mitigate this. So what are the data quality action plan that you need to put in place? And you need to look at pre-project actions, meaning what is the ongoing actions being taken right now by the organization that you are implementing SAP into. What are the actions that you are going to take as the project manager during your project? And then what should be the long-term actions that should be taken to ensure data quality remains under control and monitored and enforced after your SAP go live. And once you know what actions you want to take, or someone needs to take and is being executed, then you need to execute your action plan. And you need to make sure that you monitor and report this. So people might say, no, we're already doing it, we're already enforcing this, and we are correcting in that this person on this floor of the building are sitting every day doing this. But you need to monitor and you need to report on what is the progress, because otherwise it's you will expect that everything is in place when you go live, but it might not be, and therefore you will face the risk that you have defined through your analysis. So let's try and have a look at the data quality activities. And here is the chart from the previous lessons in data conversion. And we said that data cleansing is something that needs to be ongoing through your project. So let's try and transform this chart into focusing on the data quality activities itself. So we'll keep the project phases, which is our guideline through many of these trainings, and then we will try to plot in what is the situation before. We might not know, as the question mark here indicates. What are the actions that we are going to take as a project, and what is the post-go live actions that needs to continue. So naturally, most critical and the focus of you as the project manager should be during the project. So the data quality activities is, you need to look at what is the current action, what is the implemented current data quality process. You need to know what that is. Then you need to assess the current data quality, and you need to determine how good or bad is it. Then you need to determine the project scope and impact, or the impact of the current data quality to your project. Once you know that, you can take your project data quality actions, and this has to be driven by you unless someone else is nominated, but it has to be controlled and monitored by you at least. Dry run, the data conversion dry run is really where you will find out if you'll be facing any impact or any issues related to data quality during or after you go live. The dry run is late, and because of that, you really need to monitor this. So you need to have a monitor process set up to monitor someone else's actions, which they say is being taken, your own project action, as well as the post-go live action, at least within your duration or in the schedule which you are accountable for. So if you transition into a support organization, of course you will be accountable for this ongoingly, but at least during the project duration, you should be the person who's monitoring this and reporting it. So let's just have a look at what is the, again, to summarize, what is the impact if no action is taken, if inadequate action is taken, and if action is completed. So no action, likely significant issues and workload will be required after go live, and you might potentially have impact to the go live itself, and this is a high risk. If you put the head in the bush and you don't do anything, you will have a high risk of failing. Inadequate actions, well, you should expect then some issues and workload after go live. From the previous slide, we saw that you might have a delay, you might have certain persons that cannot, certain users who cannot complete a certain process step until corrective action is taken, or there might be people who is needed to go in and make corrections, which can be very difficult in SAP, so we really want to avoid that. But if you do not monitor it and control your data quality process, or the actions is only partly taken or completed, this is what you will likely be facing. Actions completed, then you should be able to focus on optimizing and executing the process and not firefighting data quality related issues. Put in another way, or some other lessons learned we would like to share, complete your KDS design early and communicate it, because this is where you are relating everything about your transaction and master data too. And once you need to do data correction or data cleansing, you need to know your KDS design so that you can ensure that it fits with the KDS. Get your basis master data cleansed, that meaning customer, vendors, material, bank accounts as a minimum. Again, I don't know what module you are implementing, but in a traditional SAP FICO implementation, this should be the bare minimum. Expect data quality issues. I've never seen any organization with perfect data. Plan for dedicated data quality resource in your team. You will need them. I know it's most likely not in your scope, but plan for having someone who can step in and be your guardian related to data quality. If you don't, you will be on the back end and you will be scrambling for resources at a stage where you don't really have time for that, and you might not have any free hands to pull in. Start data cleansing early. There's always more work than expected, and there's always something that can be done better. So start data cleansing early. Do nothing, be ready to fail. I cannot say it more concise or more clearly. And fail, again, we were discussing project success earlier. I mean, failure is to realize the benefit from your project, and the benefit you will not realize if everyone is running around firefighting or correcting things that is caused by data quality issues, and it might be continuing to happen because you don't have a way to enforce it. You might need to open up making all the SAP best practice mandatory fields suddenly optional, or compromise on the process in SAP, and then you will have a spiral with no end. It will be a never-ending story. So do nothing, be ready to fail. With that said, we will do a summary, and you should now know some of the impact and of bad data quality in SAP projects, as well as some actions and a checklist that you can use to try and implement or take actions early on, which will prevent you from ending up in a situation where you will have impact based on bad data. So as always, this is an area that's very important, like all the other lessons. But as always, you can come to the forum and we'll be happy to work with you more on your specific project deliverables, as well as go into more detail about data cleansing and data quality. And it's also be in the forum where we will share with you in specific requests on some of the tools that can be of help for you. With that, we will close this lesson. Thank you.